The enemy of real estate is higher interest rates.
Why? Because what happens when rates go up?
But there may be, you got to sort of pick your spots, because maybe farmland goes up first, keeps going up because it has a function. No, I think the enemy of real estate is higher interest rates, and we're starting to see evidence of that. Okay.
All right.
There you go. See? That's all you got to do is point and shoot.
Point and shoot. That's all it does.
I know. It doesn't even play anymore.
Hi everybody, welcome to the show. Well, I'm here with my good friend Ed Milewski.
You look like you know that movie where the guy was all in green. What was that? You know the one with Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey. He had put on the mask.
The mask.
You were talking like Jim Carrey there.
Oh, really?
In the mask.
No kidding.
Great voice.
Jim Carrey.
Boom.
Yeah.
Well, in the mask.
Oh, I didn't see the mask. I barely know Jim Carrey. You know Jim Carrey?
He's Canadian.
Jim Carrey used to be the kid, when he was a kid, he cut the grass at my father's place for nothing.
Yeah, you think he still would do that?
I kind of doubt it. I think my dad would be cutting his grass. Anyways,
okay.
Today's show is a little bit extra special, Eds, because today's all about the subtle metaphor. The subtle metaphor. Honorable subtle metaphor for real estate.
Right.
Because everything today, everything that's going on in the markets, everything that's happening with these synthetic assets like cryptocurrencies, like derivatives, like it's all about the real estate. So we're going to talk about real estate, and this show is sponsored by Voxtur Analytics, VXTR on the TSXV.
Right.
Trading under the weird ass symbol ILATF in the United States. It's QB listed, it's DWAC qualified, and DTC registered, so you can buy it right now. No, you can't, because markets are closed. It's Saturday. What's wrong with you? Anyways,
that's a lot.
The look on your face. Today's guest of honor, there are two, if not three. There might be three. No, could be four. Do I hear five? No, there's two.
Sold! Sold!
Terry Booth, ex-CEO of Aurora Cannabis, is now the CEO of Australis Cannabis in the United States. Terry's going to join us and tell us what's
interesting.
Different this time.
Both companies start with AU.
AU.
Hey you.
Hey you.
Hey you.
Hey you. You got my money. Anyways, after that, actually before that, because we're going to strengthen your comprehension of the metaphor by introducing Jim Albertelli. And he is now the king of technology for Voxtur Analytics. As we said, trading on the TSXV under the symbol VXTR. Full disclosure, I own a shit ton of shares of this shit, and I could sell at any moment with no further
You're
warning.
going to need some money to buy a new table if you keep hitting it that hard.
This is a...
laminate.
Yeah, laminate.
Laminate.
Laminate. I got a
laminate.
You like the wood?
So, yeah, like this Voxtur has the potential to be...
Ooh, we can't... Soft.
Okay.
Yeah, so Jim Albertelli is going to tell us why he thinks Voxtur Technology is going to be the company that transforms the real estate transaction landscape into a fully automated short-term prospect.
Does blockchain tie into this?
Oh!
That
we
I
don't
asked
want to steal his thunder now, do we?
Okay.
Jeez.
I guess I'm a little prescient.
Oh, God. Anyway, so he's going to be here. So Terry Booth, Jim Albertelli, Ed Milewski. Might even have one of the dogs come in here at some point.
Yeah.
But
who let the dogs out?
Who let the dogs out? I actually don't even know that song.
Yeah, apparently you don't.
Song.
Yeah,
No, you can tell.
Okay.
Anyways, Edward.
Yes, sir.
Why? Can you tell me why the price of copper collapsed so badly this week? Today.
Collapsed?
Collapsed, yeah.
Like,
basically collapsed from $4.09 down to $3.99. I know. Okay.
What are you smoking?
What
Like
am I
collapse?
smoking?
Collapse. That's not a collapse.
No?
Okay.
Huh?
So I'll tell you what a collapse is. In 2007, I believe, oil hit $143.
I remember.
And within 6 or 9 months or 10 months, it hit 20-some dollars.
I was selling.
That is you're buying and then selling. That's a collapse.
That was
Copper's off 8% from the peak.
Yeah.
8 frickin' percent, up 60% from where it was a year ago.
So why did it collapse so bad?
Is there an echo in here?
Okay,
Wait,
the price
hello?
of copper didn't collapse.
It's off it.
Here's a better, more pertinent question.
Okay.
Another full disclosure pause here.
Yeah.
Crown Mining, which I'm about to mention, you own a shit ton of shares in that. I own a shit ton
yeah.
of shares in that.
Yeah.
It's now called U.S. Copper. Huh? This is going
The
somewhere.
new symbol will be out next week.
New symbol next week.
Yeah, and it'll be USCU. Get it? US for US and CU for copper. Get it? US
wait
copper.
A sec here. Won't it be USCUF because it's a foreign issuer?
Well, it's USCU in Canada.
As I see you, you see me. Is it UCSF?
I've seen enough of you. I've seen enough of you.
I've heard enough of this bullshit.
Okay.
Anyway, so tell me, why are the juniors like Crown Mining not responding to the increased copper price?
Well, we had a major run. Crown quadrupled in about a month.
That's a good point.
Early February.
Sword! And then it collapsed again.
Very sword.
Oh, you've been talking to the woodman again.
Wood, sword. Hey, the sword. The sword.
The sword is stronger than the wood? That's how you lose your wood, is if somebody chops it off.
You show me
a
sword, I won't show you any wood.
Anyways, let's kick it off with this interview with Jim Albertelli. He's now the Chief Technology Officer of Voxtur Analytics.
Okay.
Hey there, Midas Letter subscribers. My guest today is Jim Albertelli. He is the president of Voxtur Analytics. Jim, welcome.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Jim, let's start with a bit about your background. I'd love to hear about what you did before you were doing Vox.
Well, I started I did an undergrad finance and economics background, and then went to law school, Emory University School of Law in Atlanta. After that, I did a stint with the public sector. I did an externship with the Georgia Supreme Court, and I was a felony prosecutor in the Atlanta area. Quickly left that and went out and went to a big firm. Lasted a few months, and then ever since that, I've been on my own. I started my law practice in Atlanta, and then I grew it from representing small banks to regional banks, ultimately to national banks and financial institutions. I built that practice up and a reputation to serve Fannie, Freddie, Ginnie Mae, so the ins and outs of the origination world, the servicing world, and the securitization world. So I created one of the first online mortgage companies that mined social media data. It was a mortgage originator and servicer, and I ultimately sold that company to Australis Capital Management. I created, because I saw a disconnect, inefficiencies between home borrowers and the banks during the financial crisis. I created a technology, the first eBay-style auction house for distressed real estate. So really connecting ma and pa kettle to ultimately the financial institutions, give them equal footing. So if you looked at it, you saw, oh, he's in mortgage. Well, the mortgage was for a purpose, to help finance the homeowners. The title company was to support it with title, to give a forward look at title that no one had. And then connecting those components, I could connect them to the auction, ultimately, engage homeowners. So I built that eBay style auction, and I ultimately transferred those rights to a company that became auction.com. I think it recently was valued at over $1 billion. So I've been in the underpinnings of the mortgage market, the origination, the servicing, and the service delivery. I've been in the technology world, building technologies and really addressing inefficiencies across the marketplace. And so all of that's comprised this varied career. It's all been around the real estate and real estate finance. That's been the constant piece. But that's really been my background up until the Voxtur transaction.
How do you summarize to somebody who doesn't really understand the extent to which Voxtur has sort of captured and redefined the real estate transaction landscape? How do you describe the Voxtur value proposition to them in a really concise and simple way?
Well, it starts with validated data. The common thesis for Gary's operation and mine is taking disparate data elements, validating that data, having it in a very flexible database that you can then extract the information efficiently on. You can layer utilities on it and deliver software as a service to our clients. So essentially, what Gary created in tax is validated tax data transparency for the consumer, for the homeowner, or for the taxpayer, and for the municipality. Exact same thesis that we deploy with the title information that we have internally. Exact same thesis that they have in the valuation world. So really, when you look at what do we have one of the most expansive databases in the real estate space. The information is validated to the sources of record. For example, connection points to municipalities, connection points to the mortgage servicing platforms, connecting points to large financial institutions, connection points to the bankruptcy courts. So depending on where our technology is, it's all built on this singular end-to-end encrypted, validated database. That is the engine that then drives utilities based on what function and what user group are engaged in the process. So we serve throughout the mortgage value chain, from the loan origination system to the mortgage servicing platform to the trading platform. We use these validated data elements to provide services directly into each of those constituencies. And that hasn't been done effectively and efficiently to date. So that really why, when you say, what is Voxtur, and I go back and I say, oh, it's a validated database. Okay, unpack, what does that mean? When you look at third-party validation, giving you transactional certainty and vast efficiencies, you can then deploy it for multiple use cases. That's some of the beauty of what we've done, is bring in all of these disparate data elements, normalize it, which just means you put it in a format that we can then quickly extract the information from, and we build utilities on that data. And so we are, where our artificial intelligence and machine learning is applied, we are way ahead of the industry in certain particulars. I don't want to identify them. There are competitors out there, but we are delivering an efficient closing technology, efficient data assets in a number of places throughout the value continuum, the mortgage value continuum, and that's transformational.
Who are the people, who's going to use Voxtur, and sort of what is the total addressable market that you're approaching?
Yeah, when you're looking at the TAM of the industry, we're talking, well over $100 billion addressable market. In our technology that underpins title, and our alternative to title alone is over $20 billion. So, when you're looking at just individual products and services, there's a $100 billion market. What do we think we're going to accomplish? Or what are we addressing initially? Look, I don't know at this point. When I look ahead and I say, if we took one of these technology components built on our validated database and it proliferates throughout the marketplace, and it were to touch the 1.1 million loans that are done a month in the U.S. That's just on the origination, not all the servicing, not all the trading, but just on the origination. And Canada is about another 10% of that. So let's just call it, for easy math, 1.2 million loans a month. If you thought your technology would proliferate and touch all of those, one of our technologies would, then you quickly, the math adds up pretty fast. You're quickly at 10, 20, 100 million in EBIT a month. The numbers grow exponentially. And so it's like the flywheel. We are laying the foundational elements with the data normalization and the utilities we're building to take a greater and greater swath of that value chain. That's why I said, when you when you wrote and you said, "Hey, tell me about addressable market," I thought to myself, well, I don't want to blow anybody away. They're very big numbers, but it's a multi-trillion-dollar mortgage market, right? So they're going to be big numbers at scale.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got recently added Appraisals Now, or anow.com as it's called. The companies that you've been talking about here were all more or less consolidated just in the last several months. And so an outsider looks at this and says, wow, they're building something here. It's really impressive. And that's why I'm involved, because I'm watching this, and it's like you're looking across the street at your neighbor, and there's like lights and sparks flashing, and you're wondering, what's he building in there? And so I've been watching for a while, and I know it's going to be something impressive, but the $1 million question for all of people like me who are watching from the outside is, when is it going to be done? When is it ready for prime time? When does it sort of sweep the market as it exists aside? When do you start generating those big $100 million EBIT numbers that you're talking about?
Yeah. So it's funny that you put it that way. It's a great visual. I can see it. You're looking at it, and quite frankly, thinking strategically about how we want to approach the marketplace, and not show our hand too soon, right? And because we don't want people to identify other companies that we have identified that are acquisition targets for us. So we want to be very thoughtful about what we buy and when and how we assimilate it. But now that ANOW's done, I can say this, and it's not going to be very long for you to start seeing the result of some sparks flying, I think.
All right, Jim, we're going to leave it there for now because we've run out of time, but that was a fantastic explanation. And I'm very excited for you guys, obviously, as a shareholder. So we'll come back to you in a few months, and we'll see how things are progressing. Really, thank you for your time today.
Love it. Thank you. Have a great day.
That's very becoming.
Hey, well, so what do you think? This company starts to do work for Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, GFHA, FHA, BA. Are you impressed? Are you blown away? You see where this is going?
There's going to be companies, because the world's technology is moving at such at a fast rate. Things are changing very quickly.
Yes.
And maybe this is a company that's got something that could make it a several $100 million company. Well, it's already a several $100 million company, a multi-billion dollar company.
We're talking
big time,
billions. Another Jim Carrey. No, that was Mike
Myers.
Myers, right?
Yeah.
Anyways,
okay.
Yeah. So
okay. Well, we got to stay tuned.
So
I see it's up 8 cents last week. Yeah, I'm getting it.
The interest rate on the 10-year.
Yes, 168.
Touched 1.779 this week.
Yeah.
And so, if you were to ask me, which nobody ever does, just for clarity, it would seem that the trend is moving higher.
Where do you think the 10-year rate was in 1980?
1980?
Or 1981?
12%.
16.
16%.
16% versus...
On the 10-year.
On the 10-year. I looked that up, and I started looking at longer-term
I remember
charts.
that, because interest rates... My parents almost lost their house to their mortgage because it was 18% they were paying on that.
Is that when they told you that you had to stop going to school and go to work?
Well, that's when they took me to the local department store and filled up. No, they didn't.
No.
Anyways,
Son, they won't put you in jail. Steal everything you can.
Yeah, exactly. You're too young. Fill your pockets.
No, but rates were like you have to remember that we're looking at, and if you look at the stock market over the last 20 years. Compare it to the interest rates for the last 20 years. One is straight down.
Collapsed.
Interest rates. Stock market straight up.
Soared!
So is there a connection between a high stock market and extremely low interest rates? I say yes.
Now, what about real estate, though? What happens when interest rates start to rise?
Real estate, are you kidding me? I remember telling a worker, a lady I worked with, she was buying some real estate, and I said, you're at, this is after real estate goes up and up. She says, I'm buying a condo. I said, no, you're crazy. Rent, it can't stay up. She bought the condo, I think she told me for $250. And I bumped into her recently. I said, what's your condo worth now? It's almost tripled.
Really?
Like, in other words, you never know how high is high when you're in that trend. But if rates go up, there's no way real estate can keep going up. It just doesn't work that way because it's all funded on debt.
So what happens when real estates rise rapidly and suddenly to real estate?
Interest rates. Well, there's a initially maybe everybody goes out and buys because they're afraid that rates are going to go up, but then all of a sudden, vacuum, no more buying.
Is there anything called a foreclosure?
Well, when you consider the debt level has never been greater, never, ever, ever been greater. They just keep printing it and they keep borrowing it. Yeah, I think the whole thing's a bit of a house of cards. Like the real estate thing could be really, and then you have all this commercial real estate sitting out there. What are you going to do with all that?
Yeah.
No, I think maybe farmland might be the exception because it's tied more to the commodity prices.
Sure.
Other than that, I'd say...
Yeah, I've had no end of people telling me that the real estate market cannot continue rising in Canada. It must correct. I've been hearing that since 2012.
Well...
And every single one of those people has had to eat their words.
Eat crow, except... But still rates kept dropping, didn't they?
They did.
And as long as rates are dropping, real estate can go up.
Soars!
But what's happened lately?
Interest rates are rising!
Yeah, and you know what? Oh yeah, wait. And now we're going to see. We're doing this weekly.
Yes.
We're going to see
every
week. 168.
Yes.
It's not 128 anymore.
No,
it's not. But you know what? The real trouble, I think, will be when we get close to 3. If we get close to 3.
3%.
3%. And that wasn't that long ago. I think in 2018 it was 3%.
It wasn't long ago that Prime Plus 2 was 3%. Now, what would that make? Prime Plus whatever is going to be, wow, you're talking 5% borrowing rates at the highest levels.
Well, let's just see what happens here. And again, soybeans are still way up there.
Yeah.
Copper is $4.
Yeah.
Nice big number with a 4.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's, again, why I was so interested in Voxtur, because we know what happens when all these foreclosures start flying around. Everybody rushes to the platform to see what happened the last time the house was foreclosed on, and all that data is in the Voxtur engine.
So this is really going to make this an opaque, not an opaque, but very clear. What's the word?
Invisible?
No.
Visible?
No.
See-through?
When you can see...
Clear.
What's the word?
I don't know. I don't know what the word you're looking for is.
The optics are nice.
Oh, the optic. You can see through it.
You can see through it. Good optics. In other words, that's the trouble with real estate. Nobody knows what the hell this is going to...
Well, the interesting thing is everybody told me that, and it's a common sort of one of those classic pearls of wisdom, that more fortunes are made by people who are in the real estate game than any other game in history.
Probably.
And has consistently been the case.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing is in Toronto, the rents for properties are now at their 10th consecutive drop in the last 10 months in Toronto.
You're saying the price, the rent, the amount you're charged is dropping?
Yeah, rents are dropping.
Yeah.
Prices are rising. So now what happens when you finance a commercial building that relies on rents and you're forced to reduce your rent? Is it not probably enshrined in your covenants somewhere that if your rents drop below X, we get your building?
Yeah.
Something like that.
No, there's Armageddon in the air.
Yeah,
there's Armageddon.
Well, this is the thing. We are in, correct me if I'm wrong, are we not in a hyperinflationary stage vis-a-vis global currencies?
Well, we're starting. We've started this since COVID broke, since about that drop in March.
Yeah.
Commodity prices have elevated. Interest rates are now elevated. This is going to be the biggest spending the United States has ever. This is like on a scale that, relative to what happened after World War II. This is big, big.
Okay, so looking at our chart here from the American Institute of Economic Research, this golden line here is the average growth rate of M3 and M2. So M3 and M2 is the combined inventory of money that is in the form of notes, coins.
So you're saying it's growing at 40, 50% now? Like,
well, look at this where's the dates on here? The dates aren't there.
Yeah,
it's got
no
the
dates.
country. No dates.
What about figs?
Well, there's Turkey. They got figs.
Oh, yeah.
And dates.
Yeah, Turkey's, you notice there's been a lot of shuffling in the central bank in Turkey. Erdogan's not happy with...
Well, the central bank governor quit.
Well,
or was he asked to quit, right?
Yeah, Erdogan. Well,
Ferdigan.
Say it again.
Read it again.
Erdogan.
No, so this is my question, Ed. Are we not in an accelerating hyperinflationary phase that must result in a collapse in the global economic system as it exists today?
I think we're in the early stages, and I think it's difficult to know exactly where we are until time passes by. But, for instance, rates are very, very low still. Even though we've had this move, you look at a 20, 30-year chart, you'll see that we're just barely come off the bottom. And the stock market's still at an all-time high. So once if we're right, it's going to take a little while to play out. And the Fed is it's got all these tools that they're going to try and slow down any quick changes. Because it's the quick changes that... And we haven't talked about this guy here this week, this Bill Huang. Eh?
Huang?
Huang.
Why? What did he do?
Why?
You sure you're pronouncing that correctly?
Huang.
Huang?
Huang, I think his name is.
Huang.
He was a disciple of Julian Robertson, the guy, guy.
The guy whose fund just imploded.
$40 billion margin call.
Yeah.
Hello, and they did it with swaps. So these banks are on the hook.
Yeah. Jeez. Well, so but testimony to the resilience and the sort of circuit breakers that are built in the system now, it did not cause a broad-based run on the bank, a la Lehman Brothers collapse, which was also a margin call.
It was only $20 billion.
20 billion.
That's all. Now we're talking trillions. Like, come on, guys.
Well, this is the thing.
You're going to scare me. Scare me with something big.
Those billions don't cut it anymore.
No, the numbers are getting crazy. There's so many $20 billion pools of money out there.
So will people be depressed?
It depends.
If you lost your house, would you be a little bit upset?
Well, if it was cold, yeah, and you were looking around. Hey,
what
James,
would you do?
Knock, knock, knock.
What would you consume more of if you suddenly had lost your house?
You can alcohol.
Okay. What else?
Marijuana?
Weed, yes.
Weed.
We're segueing to the weed conversation.
Okay, let's talk about weed. You see, our old friend Mike Blaney just raised $23 million in a bond deal. GTech.
Jeez.
$23 million.
Mike Blady's got $23 million
Let's give
in
him
his
a call.
bank account. Yeah, let's get him out here.
Let's go for a
Lady,
trip.
give us a call.
Yeah.
We got to talk.
We got to talk.
Yeah, well, that would be...
Why don't you call us anymore? What?
Yeah.
You got so much money you can't talk to us?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, actually, yeah, Mike.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about those fees.
Yeah. Hey, what happened to our cut?
Yeah.
Where's our cut, Mike?
Jesus.
No, but anyways, no cut. All joking aside. So there's been a lot of movement in the cannabis industry. Different players moving to different scenes. Lots of founders exiting the companies they founded and popping up in the most unlikely of places. And our next guest is a guy who would best be described as a household name in the cannabis industry in Canada from 2015 to 2018. Terry Booth is now the CEO of Australis Cannabis in the United States, and he joins us now from Edmonton, Alberta. Terry, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing, James?
I'm fantastic. Are you coming to us from deepest, darkest Edmonton?
Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Born and raised.
Beautiful. Hey, Terry, tell us what's happening at Australis. This is a U.S. company, is it not?
Yes, it's a U.S.-based company out of Nevada. It's a cannabis company that's had a pretty busy year with a dissident battle that was one-handedly, and a couple of acquisitions and getting it back on track with some accretive deals. So we're pumped.
Fantastic. I see that one of those companies was Body and Mind. And when I saw that, my eyes just about popped out of my head. The first time I ever got completely blitzed on gummies was produced by Body and Mind. I went down there for a show and tell back in, I don't know, 2017. Anyways, I ate a 75 milligram gummy, and I actually ended up eating 3 or 4 of them, and I had to be carried to my room. That was the end of that. So I know their products are good.
It's Body and Mind is BAM, right? So you got
BAM, exactly. And that's what happened. BAM. Anyways, so tell me about the revenue profile of Australis right now, and what do you see happening in the next 12 months?
Next 12 months, with the deal that we've done with ALPS, that's the engineering design firm that's building cannabis facilities for others, as well as building sustainable tomatoes and vegetables all across the world, lettuce and berries. With that acquisition, if they hit their milestones, we're going to see some excellent revenues. I don't have pro forma in front of me, but hundreds of times bigger than what they've seen at Australis over the last couple of years.
Right. And I'm interested also that you have an ACMPR licensed producer in Canfield, Ontario. Do you know that if I stepped outside of this production tent right now and threw a rock as hard as I could to the northeast, I would actually put it through somebody's window in Canfield? It's just on the other side of the farmer's field from me.
Okay.
So I'm wondering where this Quality Green is. Can I go there and try the product?
Yeah, Quality Green is licensed. We're an investor in Quality Green. Same with BAM. We're an investor in BAM. We acquired ALPS and we acquired GT Therapeutics or Green Therapeutics in Nevada. Those two companies are fully owned subs. And Green Therapeutics, I go back a long way with those guys. They're BC boys, Smokey and Adrian, Andrew rather. And it's a company that is licensed as a LP, licensed producer, and they expect to be selling to customers shortly. I think they're selling now to other licensed producers. And they know what they're doing, and we invest with them and wish the best of luck, and we'll help them wherever we can.
Sure. I actually spent a day on a small aircraft with Thomas Larson from ALPS. We were looking at a large greenhouse in Leamington, Leamington, Ontario at the time, which I believe he was looking at on behalf of your alumnus, Aurora. And so I know Thomas well. I happen to have great respect for him just in that one day's conversations. Does this mean that Australis is going to be in the picks and shovels side of the industry in the U.S. or in Canada or internationally?
All of the above. Canada would be a bit of a delay, obviously, with Thomas's non-compete. But now that just needs an approval depending upon what we're doing. He can do his vegetables and whatnot in Canada. We've already got, we signed the Australian deal with Can Group.
Yep.
So we're off and running on that. Construction has started. There's a deal in the USA that we're working on, actually a number of deals. I can't really speak to them, but they're all looking very promising. You'll see it in the Sunday papers soon enough. Sure. He's got work in the vegetable space in the USA doing 27-story vertical grows, sustainability, and in veggies, that is. And then on the cannabis side of things, working in Australia, in the Middle East, as well as pretty focused on USA right now with the New York State just popped, right?
Yes.
So there's work that Thomas has done there before that we want to re-engage, and we have, but as I said, it's looking very, very promising. He's going to be a very busy guy. It's interesting you said that you were, after one day, you had high respect. Me too. After my first day meeting Thomas in the Netherlands, I knew I had to buy him. Aurora had to get a hold of this company. The knowledge that is in Thomas's head with respect to the grow, and now with 7 years of cannabis experience, pretty formidable. And it's not something that's really being done in USA. It's very I wouldn't call it niche, but I would call it authentic.
Yeah. No, I've been to a great number of the operations in the United States, and the one major difference between Canada and the U.S.'s approach towards cannabis is the Americans just don't have the sort of focus on technology and sterility and cleanliness. I mean, they're very much long-running, old-school greenhouses for the most part, the ones I went to anyway. So I imagine there'd be a real competitive advantage to have state-of-the-art cultivation technology brought to them up in the sort of context that Thomas is famous for. What's the landscape like in the U.S. right now with, Biden gets in and takes over all three branches of government, says he's going to relax the cannabis rules as part of his election campaign, and then he goes and fires 5 of his own employees for past cannabis smoking. And it's like it's just such a contradictory message. Is that having any kind of negative effect on the sentiment of cannabis industry participants down there?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Do I think cannabis is going to be legalized in the United States anytime soon? No. Do I believe that there may be a medical system in place fairly soon? Yes. It's a fragmented system in the States, but some of the bigger Eastern states are coming on board, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Those are mass populations in the adult usage sector. The Senate went the Democrats' way, that the House, obviously the president. The Democrats were more friendly all along. They were the ones that wrote the Cole memo that the Trump administration ripped up. So I think that we're in for some excellent growth. In the United States, we've got the MORE Act and the SAFE Act coming together, bipartisan bills that are going to be combined, according to Chuck Schumer. And I think that's going to happen sooner rather than later. And if you think about the 280E as well, that has expenses that you can't deduct against your income. That's big. That's going to add to the bottom lines of these U.S. companies. You have to take your hat off to the U.S. companies that have survived during this time. I'm engaged with them. I always was. We always had a good relationship with many of the U.S. companies at Aurora. We were always looking to get into the MSO race. And as you know, they entered the CBD space shortly after I departed that we worked on. And it's exciting as hell. I tell you what, in California, you have to be there. Nevada, excellent set of regulations. New York, going to be a challenge, but it's 18 months away. It's a massive state. Think about this: Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey. That's like 40, 50 million people right there. Yeah, they're bigger than our entire market. It's expected that Michigan will do more adult usage sales than Canada next year. Yeah. So it is starting to find its feet about it. And with these acts, I think it's going to be a tremendous market in the adult usage space in America. Guess what? They get to be able to brand as well. And this Australis is indeed a brand play. We're not, it's not Aurora 2.0 or Australis 2.0. It's going to be its own company where we build for others. We secure biomass at a discount, hopefully. And we sell that biomass under our brands.
Okay, that's different. Do you think that the fact that you have in this United States, it's state by state sort of business, does that make it easier for an established player in the industry like yourself to make money and act as some kind of a bit of a barrier to new participants to your advantage, or is it the other way around? Federal regulation on a national scale would make it easier for you to make money and eliminate competition?
Good question. I think the fragmentation in the U.S. is the challenge. We were talking about the other day, we treat it like 50 different countries. As each state comes on with a new set of regulations, you have to have your eye on the ball. You have to make sure you're making the right choices of which state you want to play in. Different requirements in each state. Some don't allow vertical integration. Some don't allow international investment still. So we have a team that has been formed. While we were waiting for this distant battle to end, we weren't sitting on our asses. We were working because we knew we were going to win it. So we did quite a bit of work in just getting ourselves set up properly in the U.S. Nevada first, of course, with the GT deal. We're in Oklahoma and Missouri as well now. And I said you'll see some other announcements in other states very soon. I've been down quite a bit into the United States, even with the travel restrictions. I've not been incarcerated yet. I'm back into the hotels. We have a little bit of a free pass there with my other company. But it's To answer your question, I don't think it's a hard market to crack whatsoever. If you think of the population bases of some of these states, they're as big as Canada. Yeah. And certainly, you know, you have to pick your regs. I used to say California was impossible to navigate towards profitability, but they've changed a few things, and those little changes have made a big difference in making money in Cali. You've heard me say this before, James. The cannabis space will never be as small as it is today. Full stop. Right. And that's on a global basis as well.
Right. Terry, the top 5 Canadian cannabis companies are projecting EBITDA in 2021 of 0. And in the United States, the top 5 MSOs are projecting EBITDA collectively of 1.4 billion. What is the problem in Canada that prevents major companies from making money in the cannabis business?
I would say that where we have trouble in Canada making money at the top level is purely the sales and the over estimation of what the requirements were, where these big facilities were built. I was a part of it. We built some great facilities, still great low cost per gram, but you have to be able to sell. And with the province in the middle of yourself and the retailer, that presents its own set of challenges. With the inability to brand and to advertise, you can't differentiate as much as you would want to. So you have your craft growers who break rules and they get the lead on the sales side. And there's some that have done a great job of it. And those aren't the top LPs; they're mid tier. In USA, the MSOs, the multi-state operator, which we intend to be, some of them have done a great job. Trulieve, Curaleaf, Cresco, the list goes on. And there's also been some casualties there. The Canadian system is a tough system to enter. The barriers to entry are high. I think the gray market still exists quite a bit in the Canadian market because of us not being able to crack the egg in Ontario. It wasn't Ford's fault this time. It was COVID. Yeah. Right? They were just about to let that thing run. And that's our largest province. And at the same time, BC was lagging. And that's not really cracked open yet because of COVID. And you can point your fingers at COVID, but it's true. With the Canadian retail cannabis market, COVID created quite a hindrance on growth. And I think as we all get vaccinated and we come back online and Ontario gets cracking and BC gets cracking, you're going to see those companies turn around.
Right. Okay. Well, that's great, Terry. That's a great welcome back sort of interview for you. And appreciate your time today. We'll come back to you soon and get a catch up on Australis. Thanks for joining me today.
Hope to see you soon, James. Thanks for the time.
You bet. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
So that was interesting to see Terry Booth back in the game in the United States.
Terry looks good.
Terry
looks good. He looks very comfortable.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be any problems with heat or anything like
that. Definitely taking advantage of his pedigree in the industry, cobbling together these various assets to create this. Yeah. This is quite something unique. I'll be interested to see how much money they make this year.
Yeah.
So also, Ed, I saw a press release come by the wire. You have an interest in a company called Danovation, which we had John Ricci, the CEO, on.
Danovation, yes.
And it was an interesting thing to me. And the press release that came out here, we have it up here, is about them having a launch of digital smart labels at Farm Boy. What is this? What is the significance of this?
Farm Boy has got, I think, 30 shops, 30 restaurants in Canada, or 30, not restaurants, but 30 food stores.
Oh.
They're owned by Sobeys,
right,
which is part of the Empire Group. Very big organization. This company impresses me because it continues to develop relationships with big names.
Wow.
That can only mean that they've got something that's working. And so there you go. DVN, we've talked about it. I think the stock close is around 40, low 40s.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's see. Should we take a look at what it did for the share price?
There's been some action. It sold off yesterday early at down to 37 cents and last week or whatever, and I think it's 42 cents as we speak.
Okay. So the press release did help it a bit.
Well, the press release, I think, maybe let the stock cleaned up.
Oh yeah,
but look,
it's got a nice.
It's starting to show. Look at
yeah.
Look at that last
rising
there.
Right. What is it we call the
hammer?
Hammer?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Hammer.
I see. You didn't have to ask the question. I knew what you were talking about. That's all
Talking about the hammer?
That's all you were thinking
We're
about.
talking about wood, now we're talking about the hammer. Jesus, what's wrong with this show?
Okay.
We're going to get banned. We're going to get off the air.
Right guard.
Right. Sometimes I feel like a nut. Anyways, okay, so great. We got copper hanging tough in there. We got interest rates rising. Real estate is going crazy pretty much on both sides of the border. We've got Voxtur in the sweet spot where what percentage of transaction is going to run across Voxtur platform in the next 2 years? We're going to find out in a year. And full disclosure, I got to say it once, I'll say it again. I got a lot of shares in this company, and I will sell them without telling you, Ed. I won't even mention it.
I'll know.
You'll be out there buying, and I'll be out here.
You're living in Monaco.
Yeah, no, I'm a holder of long-term standing.
Okay.
I will not. You know what price I'm looking for? I can't tell you because that would be speculation.
I know. Okay.
You know what my opinion is? I can't tell you because I'm not an investment advisor. But you know how high this thing could go?
How high?
Pretty high.
So am I.
Great. So what other weed companies are out there in the United States? We saw one news item today, and I wanted to talk briefly about that. There was a probe opened by the Department of Justice against Green Thumb, which has been one of the top
I think
US
I saw that.
Yes. Green Thumb, and we're just going to pull up that press release if I can do so, and maybe even some video commentary. Let's go with the Canadian symbol because that's the main trading symbol of it. So, bit of a dip in the share price there.
Yeah. It looks like it's rolled over.
Yeah.
What's it at right now?
It's okay. So here's Green Thumb Industries says federal authorities have made no effort to initiate contact with the company. So
there's something going on, and I read something. There was some kind of somebody alluded to something, and yet there you go.
Well, let's see if we can divine what is going on here.
Yeah, there's allegations of some
allegations. Sort. Ooh. Okay, so here they put out a press release. Responds to baseless allegations by Chicago Tribune.
That's what I read.
Okay, so let's see. What's the essence of the accusation? Whoa, except, these cookie screens are getting really annoying. They should ban those. Okay, so there is an open investigation by federal authorities as alleged in an article. So either the Chicago Tribune has got a very creative editorial department. There's no good news today. Just make something up.
Make something up.
And find a company to wipe out and all of its shareholders.
Something like fake news or something.
But the Chicago Tribune published this story, and federal authorities have not contacted Green Thumb. So that would be interesting that a journalist would know more about an investigation into a company than the company would know.
Yeah.
So
how does that happen?
I do not know.
Maybe the guy was walking in an alley somewhere and walked into some drug pushers or something. And,
right. So this could be a tempest in a teapot. And looking at the share price, that's exactly the market's impression. We go back here. Where is it? There it is. No, wrong one. Forward. Here we go. There it is. Ooh. Yeah. So there's the bad press. There's the response, and there's the market sentiment. Didn't quite recover to where it was. It would be interesting to see if there was actually a short strategy afoot here. Could you imagine? So you call up a journalist at the Tribune, you pretend you're Joe Schmo at the SEC, Department of Justice, or wherever, and you say, hey, is this Ben Kovler, the founder
what's
of...
the price of this thing? What is the price?
33.6.
Oh, this is a big boy.
Oh, yeah. This is this ain't no...
it looks to me
CBGB.
the main trend's broken. We've got a little bit of a head and shoulders.
Here we go
head
into
and
the
shoulders
technical
formation.
analysis.
Yeah,
Wow, look at that. So I don't know. Is there anything there? Market says probably not, eh?
It probably says, you wanted to buy this a year ago and be selling it now. That's what it says.
Well, I would have wanted to be selling it a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Up here.
Maybe we can talk about it.
$48.
Talk about it next week. There you go.
Well, actually, Green Thumb Industries, not coincidentally, figures prominently in an upcoming publication that we're putting out. And it's not going to be anything scandalous.
We are.
We'll leave that to us.
Okay.
And yeah, no, but it's. I mean, we've got to see where this story goes. We might not be publishing it if it turns out to be true.
You might be publishing shit.
That's quite true. Well, we're always publishing shit. I mean, where shit gets published every day. That's what we do, is we publish shit.
Yeah.
Come on, Ed.
Okay.
Okay, so let's take a look at Australis' symbol. We never did that. AUSA, Australis. This is a Canadian symbol. Let's take a quick peek here. All right, so 40 cents, holding its own. You know, he made an interesting comment about a proxy fight. And I didn't really hear anything about that. And looks like Terry won. He's sitting in the driver's seat. But big jump in the share price from the beginning of the year. It was down to 14 cents. Yeah. And now it's up at 50, 40. But it'll be interesting to see what Terry can do with this.
The Bollinger Bands are narrowing out there,
Yeah.
which means a bigger move's probably about to occur.
Yeah.
At this stage, not to speculate, but right now you can't really tell if it looks like it's got great support right at that where it is now.
Yeah.
Where is
right
it now?
Here. 40 and a half.
Yeah, okay.
All
well, right. we don't want to see it get too much into the 30s because it starts to look like it's breaking down.
Right. Looking at, here's a list of the top U.S. Firms that I follow. This is CL. What is this?
Goldman Sachs?
No, CL, Cresco Labs.
Oh, yeah.
Cresco Labs is holding its own around $16. Kronos, it's been fluctuating between $12 and $6 for the years now. Cureleaf, $19. This was our top pick at $7 back in September 2020.
It's been a good one.
Yeah, so that's
they got all the shops in Florida, right?
That's making money, yeah. So Tilray, $22.34. Remember, this was at $300 not so long ago.
Yeah, not there anymore.
TrueLeaf, $57. Now, TrueLeaf has got to be the best performing stock in the sector for a large cap cannabis deal. They dominate in Florida. They're moving into California and other states, and they have end-to-end production, retail, medical.
They're doing it right.
They're doing it up. And Kim Rivers will be our guest again here shortly, because she's our buddy. We talked about TrueLeaf when it was at $8.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking about, TrueLeaf. Yeah, that's the one that's in Florida, correct?
Yes, that's one of them. Liberty Health is in Florida,
I'm thinking about Cureleaf, though. I get Cureleaf and TrueLeaf mixed up.
Oh.
You got them both up there.
Yeah.
I shouldn't get them mixed up, should
No.
I? Maybe they should merge. Then I can't get them mixed up.
Then you could.
M&A.
But then you won't be able to
Hey, everybody.
M&A.
This is how they dream up M&A activity.
What's your symbol? M&A.
The banker can't remember that it's two companies. He says, we'll just merge them.
So here's the one that I wanted to look at comparing Australis. So GRWG is Grow Generation Corp. These guys do not grow cannabis. They produce basically picks, shovels, equipment, lights, etc., which is what Terry seems to be saying that Australis is going to be focusing on with their acquisition of Alps.
Really?
Yeah. Alps is the Dutch greenhouse design firm owned by Thomas Larsen that Aurora acquired.
You'd think Switzerland would own the Alps. Just.
Or the Italians. But anyway,
the French.
Or the French.
Or the Swiss.
Or the Africans.
Or the Poles.
Where are we going with the Poles? Anyway, so GRWG, if that's analogous to what Australis is going to do, that's quite the lift in price. Could you imagine from 40 cents to $50? I'm almost ready to take a swing at that right now with the wood. Would I?
What about
GTBIF? What company is that, Ed? No more messing around here. Okay. Oh, you know what we should do? Oh, it's Green Thumb Industries US symbol. 29 US. So Green Thumb is 29 US.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
You're off the hook. All right. So besides our there's another company coming to trade next week that I want to talk about. Why do I want to talk about this company? Because I own a boat ton of shares.
Blowing your horn.
Hey, what's the point of having a show that you talk about stocks on if you aren't going to talk your book? I mean, come on.
Well, talk about mine.
I will talk about yours because you've got a small piece of this action. You just don't know it because I've got your back.
Okay.
And I'll be taking care of that.
All right.
Anyways, this company's called Graphene Group. No, Graphene Manufacturing Group.
Is it
GMG.
public?
It is going public next week.
And who's the...
Craig McNichol is the CEO. This is a company that was set up in Australia. Craig McNichol and his team are guys that were formerly engineers and designers with Shell, Royal Dutch Shell, building their liquefied natural gas plants down in Australia. So these guys said, hey, we've got this idea to take natural gas and turn it into a bunch of different specifications of graphene. So you know how graphene's been tossed around, like graphene this, graphene that, graphene's going to change everything.
They make graphene from natural gas?
They make graphene from natural gas, and they make it in 16 different configurations. They do it far cheaper than any other source of graphene.
I'm interested in this.
So this is the thing. This is going public next week.
And you got some of this already. How'd you get some of this before it's public?
I put like $200,000 of my own money into this deal. $200,000.
Before it was your money, whose money was it?
Somebody else's. probably the bank that blew up as I was walking. What do you mean whose money was it? It was mine.
Everybody's born with nothing.
Yes.
Well, so if you've got money, then somebody else had it before you did.
Well, or I had it, and it just grew under my stewardship. I fed it.
Husbandry.
I warmed it.
Your husband.
I walked it.
Yeah.
And it grew.
You nurtured it.
I have more money now. No, but seriously.
Okay.
So GRWG, my all-in cost per share price at this point is about 40 cents.
And where are they going public?
Where?
What price?
When?
Next week.
Where?
Toronto.
How do you know it's Toronto?
Vancouver.
No, it's going to be Toronto. They're merging with a...
How do you know it's Toronto?
How did you know? Because we only talk about Canadian companies. Anyways, it's a symbol is probably going to be GMG because it's Graphene Manufacturing Group. It's merging with a CPC called Cuspis Capital.
Cuspis.
Guess who one of the shareholders of Cuspis Capital is? Bruce Linton. Hello. Whoa.
Gone full circle.
Do you think this thing's going to rock and roll? Maybe. Does Bruce know anything about graphene? Doubt it. Will he soon? Bet he will.
He's going to know a lot more.
Does he know he has shares even? Probably not. I better call him before he sells them. Anyways, that's graphene. Now, you notice that graphene, these guys are actually going to come to market, and you know what their first application is? Coating air conditioners with graphene paint.
And why would you do that?
Because in Australia...
You wanted me to ask that question,
well, kind of. In Australia, where the majority of energy spending is in cooling, not heating, they add 30% more lifespan to the average air conditioning unit by coating it in graphene paint. So in other words, they're going to reduce the cost.
They're really going to coat it with natural gas.
No. They take the natural gas.
Oh, they take it?
They do their little...
Okay,
and it becomes graphene.
Okay.
And the graphene gets mixed to the paint. Okay. The paint gets mixed onto the air conditioner. The cool air is cooler. The machine wears down slower, basically reducing the capex cost of cooling in Australia by 30%. Now, is this a fact or am I just making this up? I'm just making this up. Did I tell you I own the stock? I own the stock. No, but that's what they're doing. But there are so many applications for this. It's crazy.
Yeah, it sounds...
And this is...
You know, with the way technology is accelerating...
Making breasts bigger.
Well, you know, I mean, the point is, we're going to see some amazing things happen.
Yes.
Like, things are changing at such... Like for instance, the technology and innovation didn't exist 3 years ago.
Nor the technology in Voxtur.
I know. Same thing. Same thing.
Yeah.
So we got to find these gems.
Yes.
Diamonds in the rough, as it were.
Diamonds. Diamond hands. Diamonds. No, you know what?
Okay.
You know what else they're going to use this graphene for? Are you ready for this? Are you sitting down?
Paint your golf balls.
Paint your what?
Golf balls.
Golf balls. Oh. No, they are going to create
Yes.
a graphene ion battery. That will cost way less than a lithium ion battery. And needs no nickel, except Craig Nickel, the CEO.
You need. What about copper?
No copper.
It needs copper.
No copper.
Everything needs copper.
Okay, bring on the copper. We'll take some copper.
Okay.
Actually, all these things are actually unknown to me, but I remember these from the presentations. I will be more factual in my upcoming video presentation on the company, but I do own it. I did put in my own hard-earned money 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and I've been sitting patiently waiting, and do you think I'm going to rush to sell some as soon as
Yes.
it goes trading? No, I'm not, because why? I think it's going higher.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, yeah. But if
Okay.
it starts to drop, will I be the first one out the door? No,
No,
I don't.
no,
No.
You're not
I'm
that-
not one of those. No,
you're not that fast.
No, I'm not one of those weak sisters.
Okay.
I've got deep pockets for my big wood.
No, I mean, never mind. I'm not going to pursue that one.
Okay.
Anyways, so enough pornography for this show, Ed. Let's talk a bit about ETFs. What do you know about ETFs?
Well, I know that that's, and a lot of times you can't understand why a stock behaves a certain way. That's because it's in some ETF, and the ETF's gone wild because people just say, "Well, just buy with the ETF."
Right.
Money goes in, and then they have to do something with it.
Yes, one of the concepts, one of the fundamental flaws in the financial system today, in my opinion, is this fact that synthetic asset classes have now consume more capital than traditional asset classes, and this causes stratification of the economy, because when you buy an ETF, does that cause any employment to rise in any segment of the industry? No, because the ETF is only trading at an approximation of the price of the underlying commodity or asset, right?
Well, not really, because there's always a spread.
That's my point, though. When you put $100 into an ETF, a mining company doesn't get it and say, "Oh, we can hire some more people now."
Right.
No.
No.
A banker puts it in your account. He gets the fee. He transfers it to another banker or sells it because you sold it and transfers it. They get a fee. But does it filter down into the real economy? No. And this is why the world is going to hell in a handbasket, in my opinion.
We could have a crash.
We could have a crash, and I think we're heading towards global civil strife.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it's all going to be online. Nobody's going to get hurt.
It does look wild.
Yeah.
You got to admit,
Oh,
sitting at my perch, not the perch from the lake.
Oh,
No, it just looks like something's going to mess up here. There'll be a black swan come out of the woodwork.
black swan.
Black swan.
Black swan.
Yeah.
I thought you weren't able to predict black swans.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
That's what makes it a black swan, right?
Well, we don't know what it is. We just
you
know
just said it was a black swan.
Yeah, but what type of black swan? A black
You can have some fun
black
with
swan.
that.
A black swan.
Black swan. One of those
Okay.
ones that floats and honks. Have you ever heard what noise a swan makes?
Yeah.
What? That's right. They
Swank.
don't. Swank?
Swank.
Swank.
Yeah.
Swans go swank? Like, give me an imitation.
They don't make noise? They make noise.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
That's why you don't see them coming.
They
don't make any noise. They just show up around the corner with all their bad news on their back.
I've seen them make noise.
They don't make noise.
Yeah.
The white swans make noise. You know that all the swans in North America belong to the queen? Which queen? I don't know, but some queen.
Yeah.
Some queen
Queen
owns
swan.
those swans.
Queen swan.
They're big. Have you ever ridden one?
No.
No? Anyways, Ed, I think we should go and have a drink.
Well, you know what? It's
Easter. Good Friday.
we're around that time of year, aren't we?
Yeah, it's Easter.
Do you know how they determine? What day, what Sunday Easter falls on?
How they determine? Yes.
How?
The first Sunday after the full moon in March.
In spring.
In spring.
In spring. It has to be after March 21st.
Oh. I was close.
You're right. You're
Close,
right.
close.
In March, but it's not necessarily March.
Close is good enough for me.
It's the first full moon The first Sunday after the first full moon
In March.
After spring.
After spring.
Can't,
After March 21st.
Yeah.
22nd? What day was the first day?
21st.
Huh. And are we in daylight savings time now?
Yes.
We are.
Yes.
I think that's
Let's
our
go
show
have a
for
drink.
today. Let's go have a drink.
Okay.
All right. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back again next week with more absolutely useless information and totally, completely conflicted promotion of our own holdings. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.